Hello everyone and welcome to the Innovation Showcase Theater. My name's Toby and I have the pleasure of being your host today. Now we all know that to thrive in the new world of digital business, companies have to innovate like never before. So we're bringing you 11 sessions here at the Innovation Showcase where we are going to share with you the latest solutions, service innovations, and best practices which we know will inspire and engage you here at Cisco Live 2019. Now today we'll be looking at the topic of reimagining IT for a multi-cloud world. And to tell us all about it, I am happy to welcome Cisco's Kip Compton, who is SVP Cloud Platforms and Solutions Group. But before we hear from Kip, let's take a look at this video.
Customers want to move from the traditional banking experience to something more digital. They want everything on their mobile phone in real time with a lot of transparency. The future for most of the big companies is that we'll need to manage a legacy infrastructure that keeps running, and this is going to be here for a long time. A private cloud that helps us to solve some of the regulatory issues and some services that will be on the public cloud. Now we are starting to connect and leverage Cisco technology to integrate our private cloud with some of the public cloud vendors who will be leveraging, like Amazon or Google. In order to manage the legacy environment, the private cloud and the public cloud, you need some companies that offer technology that operate in those three very different environments. The only one that was able to do that is Cisco. Cisco is a big shaper of a lot of the things that are happening in the digital space. We are experiencing an exponential growth in the number of transactions in most of our banks. So we are growing at a rate of close to 50% a year, the number of transactions. Even if we want to behave like a startup, we are a complex and big enterprise. Cisco has always proved with us and with other companies the ability to work in this space.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us here at Cisco Live and for this session. I'm Kip Compton. I'm really excited about the session today because we're going to have an opportunity to talk about the opportunities and the challenges that multi-cloud brings, what we're seeing happening in the industry, some of the challenges that our customers are facing, then what's Cisco's strategy and how we're helping those customers. We're also going to talk about some of the exciting announcements that we made here in Barcelona, including our HyperFlex Everywhere announcement and our CloudCenter Suite announcement. So thanks again for joining us, and let's dive in. You know, it's been an incredible year for cloud. I think I was struck by the keynote yesterday, the theme of cloud not only changing Cisco and touching every single architecture that we build at Cisco, but really touching our customers, and not just touching our customers in their IT departments, but really impacting their business models and their business operations. I think David Geckler said it well when he said it was the biggest IT transformation of our time, and I think in fact it's one of the biggest business transformations of our time. But let's look a little bit deeper at sort of what are some of the trends that we see happening. And these are things that we saw emerge during 2018, but that we think will be key in 2019 as well. And it's hard to miss the emergence of Kubernetes as an open, standard way of orchestrating containers. That was 2018 was an incredible breakout year for Kubernetes, with every major cloud provider now offering Kubernetes. And increasingly on-prem Kubernetes solutions, including Cisco's own. We also saw the emergence of more nuanced approaches to dealing with legacy applications. The days of discussing just like lift and shift, the whole application will either be here or there, are fading, and giving way to more nuanced discussions about how can I integrate with that application where it is? How can I build new cloud-native experiences, leveraging the existing applications that I have? And that's, I think, an exciting development that really enables more businesses to capture the innovation in cloud and translate them into business results. There's an increasing expectation that the public data center, public cloud and data centers act as one, really making hybrid real. And I think you saw some of the announcements here about that. We'll talk more about that during this session as well. And then, of course, the growth of AI and ML workloads has been incredible. And in fact, we're seeing some tremendous hybrid use cases there, and we'll talk about that a little bit in this session as well. And it's good that cloud is moving along so quickly because we're seeing unparalleled demands on the business side. Companies are being forced not just to move faster, but to move with more agility. Not just get more done, but be able to change course and adjust to a rapidly evolving environments. We're also seeing the need for CIOs to create new digital experiences, whether it's for their customers, where it's becoming increasingly the way that they may compete with their competitors, or for their employees, where they need to deliver new levels of productivity so that they get efficiency out of their digital business processes, can drive their business forward and compete. So multi-cloud is the new reality. And multi-cloud, simply put, is companies using multiple cloud services. It sounds very simple, but it actually brings a lot of complexity. And it's interesting because cloud was originally supposed to be incredibly simple, and it's turned out to be a little bit more complicated than people anticipated because of multi-cloud. Now, the driver that's causing companies to go for multi-cloud is increasingly a focus on innovation and agility. It's less these days about cost arbitrage. I'll go to whichever cloud's cheapest, and more about what services are available. Where can my developers get the fastest time to market? Where will my application deliver the best performance? And perhaps where are some of my partners or other people that I need to integrate with? So we did a survey with IDC, and the results were that 94% of enterprises were going to be using multiple cloud services if they weren't already. And of course, on those surveys, 94% is about the highest number you can ever get. Now, adding to this environment is the need to bridge the on-prem and the public cloud. Very few companies are actually born in the cloud companies. Most companies have critical business capabilities, applications, and data sets that are in their own data centers on-premise. And in order to get meaningful business impact from the innovation, they have to connect to that on-prem environment. So multi-cloud for us absolutely includes the on-prem environment, private clouds, as well as how we can then connect those private and public clouds to existing legacy applications. In fact, the same survey, 87% of enterprises said that hybrid was critical for them to get results. So this is a real factor in the marketplace. And unfortunately, it adds to the complexity. So now in addition to dealing with multiple different public clouds that may do things a little bit differently, customers are faced with having to bridge these public cloud environments with the private cloud environments, and they come from very different places, and they move at very different speeds, and they have very different rules. And these are, they're challenges like cost modeling. How do I understand the cost of my applications? Maybe not only where would it be best to run it, but how can I optimize it, and how can I simply predict my costs? I had one customer tell me, I've got one budget but multiple clouds. How do I project this and manage it? Things like application performance. Can I get a common way of looking at the performance of applications across these different environments? And if I have an application that stretches across these environments, can I understand what's contributing to the performance of the application? That's something you really need in a common way across your on-prem environments and your multiple clouds. Then there's things like ensuring compliance. These are very different environments, and that can be a big challenge for many of our customers. As we've had these discussions with our customers and as our strategies unfolded over the last 18 months, we've found that there's really a critical role for Cisco to play. And a lot of our customers are looking to us to make their multi-cloud journey easier and to make it so that they can really harness the innovation of these different clouds and connect to their on-prem data center. And we found that there are several areas where customers are looking for common capabilities. Networking for sure is one. And of course, one of our top announcements this week at Cisco Live was ACI Anywhere, which I think exemplifies this capability. If you saw the demonstration during Dave Geckler's keynote, you saw us delivering a consistent networking environment, not only across multiple public clouds, but also with on-prem. Security is another place where people need standards and common capabilities. They want to access the innovation in the different clouds, but they want one security framework. Things like StealthWatch Cloud is great there. Analytics or app visibility, obviously Cisco App Dynamics is a key capability there and gives you a way of measuring and diagnosing application performance in a consistent and seamless way across multiple clouds, and your on-prem environment. Then last but not least is things like management. Another one of our announcements this week here in Barcelona was the brand new CloudCenter Suite, which I'll talk a little bit more about, but that gives you multi-cloud management capabilities, including cost optimization. So this is really at a core how we're helping our customers. We're helping them with their on-prem capabilities, we're helping them across multiple public clouds, and we're helping them tie that all together to get business results. Now it's been a little bit of a journey. You know, last year we talked about the Cisco Multicloud Portfolio, and this really came about because we got feedback from some of our partners and customers about 18 months ago that it was actually hard to see Cisco's cloud assets across what is actually a pretty large portfolio. So this is very simple. It's sort of a secret decoder ring if you want. If you want to see some of the products from Cisco that will help you in the public cloud, this is a great place to start. Now, we break it into really 4 simple categories. One is cloud advisory. Most of our customers are looking for help. In fact, only 14% of enterprises, according to our data, have what they consider to be an optimal cloud strategy. So 86% are looking to improve their cloud strategy and looking for help. So there's fantastic advisory services available from Cisco as well as our partners. And then there's 3 product areas: connect, protect, and consume. We were trying to keep this simple. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. But I wanted to show you the yellow things here are the things that we've added in the last year. Of course, ACI Anywhere, we just announced this week. The Meraki VMX is their virtual appliance that runs in the public cloud. Security, we've been very, very busy. In fact, Duo belongs on the list as well, but we've got CloudLock, Tracetrace SaaS, and StealthWatch Cloud as new since last year. So we've been very busy, and then all of this connects to and works with our on-prem infrastructure, including our data center portfolio. So that's kind of a product level lens. Let's look at sort of the timeline and what we've been up to. Last year, actually here at Cisco Live, we announced the Cisco Container Platform and HyperFlex 3.0, which brought the any-cloud or multi-hypervisor approach. We followed that up in May by announcing Kubernetes support for App Dynamics and CloudCenter. Again, fitting that theme of Kubernetes really becoming the de facto way of orchestrating containers. Those were a bunch of core technologies and products that enable our customers to build cloud solutions. So we then came out with some solutions for our customers. You know, starting with the availability of the hybrid cloud solution with Google Cloud, then followed up by a solution with SAP that gives hybrid capabilities for SAP Data Hub, and then finally, late last year, a hybrid solution with AWS. So you see us having announced some products, then bringing solutions so our customers can really get the results from those products. Then here at Cisco Live Barcelona, of course, we're announcing some more products with CloudCenter Suite, HyperFlex Everywhere, and ACI Anywhere. So let's talk about CloudCenter Suite. This is actually a big announcement for us. It's the biggest release of CloudCenter since we acquired the company Clicker that built the product. And it's a complete re-architecture of the product, really to respond to the feedback that we've gotten from CloudCenter customers over the last couple of years. And people use CloudCenter to get a few key results. One is to simplify multi-cloud management. You know, if you're running things in your on-prem data center and in multiple clouds, it can be really difficult to manage each application using a different framework. CloudCenter allows you to model your workload and deploy it across multiple clouds, and that's incredibly helpful. That helps our customers accelerate their time to value with their own cloud applications, and it makes it easier for them to adopt new clouds and take advantage of the innovation there. So that's CloudCenter's value prop. We got some feedback from customers on some new capabilities they'd like to see, and with CloudCenter Suite, we're delivering those. One is cost optimization. This is actually our most requested new feature, and in fact, last week, I saw a new survey of customers where it was one of the first surveys I've seen where the #1 cloud adoption issue isn't security, it was actually cost optimization and management. So this is, I think, going to be a fantastic new capability for our customers. And then we're also added Action Orchestrator. CloudCenter provides a declarative model where you just model the workload, and then it automatically generates and executes the commands to instantiate that workload. But we got feedback from customers that sometimes they needed the ability to actually script things, interface with other systems, and build workflows. And Action Orchestrator answers that need. And in fact, Action Orchestrator is being used to help automate the infrastructure here at Cisco Live in Barcelona. So this is real technology that Cisco's already using. It's going to be available to our customers very soon. We also heard from our customers they want more flexibility in the way they access the product. So we're introducing a SaaS version of the product. And we're also introducing feature-based pricing. It's a pretty comprehensive set of features. Customers told us they'd like to be able to adopt pieces at a time, perhaps get into cost optimization, then workload management, then orchestration. So they're going to be able to do that with a new CloudCenter Suite. Now this is real. It's shipping next month in February. The SaaS version will be available in non-GDPR geographies next month. And for GDPR, including here in Europe, it'll be available this summer. So we're looking forward to having that in the market. I want to talk about a couple of use cases that we see for CloudCenter. One is IT as a service, and this, it's a fancy name, but really it's just bringing together the best of two different worlds. If you think about a traditional IT environment, there's very strong compliance and visibility for the IT department that's necessary in most businesses, but it wasn't necessarily fast. Lots of IT departments have told me it takes them 45 to 60 days to provision resources for an internal client. Think about public cloud, well, actually, if you have a credit card, you can go provision some resources before the end of our talk, but it's probably lacking visibility and compliance. IT as a service really tries to bring the best of those two things together by enabling the IT department to offer a catalog of resources on-prem and in the cloud to their internal customers so that their customers get rapid self-service, but IT still has the visibility and control that they need. This is a great solution with CloudCenter. We have a number of customers doing this, and we have integrations with solutions like ServiceNow to make that easier. Then the second use case I want to talk about was a hybrid cloud use case, and in this case with AWS, the solution that we just made available in December. CloudCenter is a key part of this solution which enables a consistent Kubernetes environment and actually enables you to manage the EKS environment and the on-prem CCP environment from the same console so that you can execute hybrid cloud workloads in a seamless way. This is proving to be a very popular solution, I think, because of the popularity of Kubernetes and obviously of AWS. So we're really excited about the announcements here this week. And in fact, to tell us more, I'm really excited to welcome Kostav Daz to the stage. Kostav leads product management for our entire computing portfolio, and he's going to share the latest innovations in HX and Intersight with us.
Thank you, Kip.
Thank you.
"10,000 accidents. There were 10,000 traffic accidents in the city of Barcelona last year. There were 256 deaths in the summer in all of Spain. And yes, there are a lot of cars on those freeways. Cars that flow from one place to another and sometimes don't quite behave and bump into each other. And when we think about this, one gets to think about what else flows in nature. Water flows, fish in those ocean currents flow together in large numbers, and they don't bump into each other. Birds in the sky fly in beautiful formations, and they don't bump into each other. Ducks don't fall out of the sky. That's the kind of thinking our automotive customers are going through as they try to design cars, as they try to infuse artificial intelligence into our automotives for a safer tomorrow. Our medical customers are trying to do the same thing. An MRI image of the brain used to be about 2,000 slices, 2,000 separate images. Today, it's 24,000 separate images. Now, we have a lot of competent doctors out there, but no doctor and no technician can actually parse through 24,000 images. A machine can, whether it's medicine, banking, retail, agriculture, our customers are starting to embrace artificial intelligence and machine learning. And I predict that in the next decade, that's going to be the new mission critical. The clouds that we rent and the clouds that we build are going to be for this new mission critical. And we will rent some of these clouds because it's faster. There are a lot of frameworks out there. It's easy to get started. We will rent some of these. But we will build a lot of these clouds. The data to train the models exists on-prem. And we will build those clouds to get trained on that data, to protect that core intellectual property that must reside on-prem. We will build those clouds. So it is going to be a true multi-cloud, mission-critical workload. And as we go through this process, we will face 3 challenges. The first is we need some enterprise-grade infrastructure to run this machine learning and to run this artificial intelligence workload on. It's got to be resilient. It's got to be something that fits into the workflows of our infrastructure. The second challenge is going to be connecting it to data sources. You all have built data lakes and pooled the data and cleansed the data, but that needs to be connected to the infrastructure that can train the models and process the data and infer from that data. The third challenge is going to be one of taming the software frameworks out there. So the good news is that a lot of this is open source. The bad news is that open source is kind of like the wild, wild west. There's new versions of PyTorch that come every week. There's new versions of all these frameworks. And as IT practitioners, all of us have to drive some sanity to make sure that what we put out there will work not only today, will work as the new version gets installed, so that the data scientists inside the company are happy and can run their models. So fortunately, we've got some solutions for these problems. On the infrastructure side, we've got solutions whether we want to do inference, we want to do training, we want to do test dev, we want to do machine learning, and if we really want to do that heavy-duty deep learning, we just released the C480ML. 8 GPUs, 180 terabytes of data, NVMe, high bandwidth backplane. This is the infrastructure if you really want to do that heavy-duty training. On the connecting to the data sources side, what we've done is we've taken our blueprints for Hortonworks, for all of the big data workloads that we run, and we have created blueprints and CVDs that marry those with the AI frameworks. And the same thing on the software framework side. What we've done is we've created Cisco validated designs, really blueprints, really recipes that say these versions are compatible, that this is how you connect a Hadoop system to your AI infrastructure, so that when we get it up and running, it becomes that much easier. So with the infrastructure, with the frameworks, and with the recipes, I think we have a pretty good solution. Sorry. Must be a cat video or a oh, hang on, it's Intersight. So, do you know Intersight? Intersight is our cloud-based system management as a service suite. We've taken UCS management, policy-driven, infrastructure as code, put it in the cloud so that we can do centralized monitoring, connected support, we can do comprehensive server management, we can do proactive guidance. In fact, the reason it was pinging me was because it wanted to send me an advice. I'm going to show this to you. This is pretty cool. It's really worth looking at. Lightning. Could we switch on? Okay, so this is Intersight. What I'm looking at now is my servers. I can look at my HyperFlex clusters. I can look at my Fabric interconnect. But let's see. Let's look at this this HyperFlex cluster in here. And I can look in here. It tells me there's something that's critical. So the overall cluster storage capacity consumed is beyond the healthy threshold. That's not a good thing. It can give me that kind of a detail. But let's look at why was it binging me? And I believe it was trying to send me a security advisory. So this is the piece about proactive guidance, is that Intersight can actually send you that proactive guidance. So it's trying to tell me that there is a Intel vulnerability, which can't be good. But there must be a fix. It looks like we've got a, let me send it to someone. Share. Don't message, don't put it on Facebook. Mail. All right. Jeff, could you take care of this, please? All right, so let's see what would happen now when Jeff gets to it. So when Jeff gets to Intersight, and we're done with the cell phones, we can get done with that. What he gets to is something that looks like the Intersight dashboard screen that looks something like this. He would get in there, he would look at this advisory, and it would say, here's the CPU side channel disclosure. This is what happened. This is the problem. He can get in there, and then he can say, which servers were affected? Well, there were 16 servers affected, 10 of a certain kind, 10 of a different kind. And he can decide, once he goes through all that literature, to say, do I want to upgrade it? You click upgrade, and the firmware gets upgraded. So from the cloud, I got a notification on my phone. I could act on it anywhere, in the middle of a soccer game, in the middle of a presentation. I could send it to someone, and they could remediate it from the cloud to my infrastructure. That is pretty amazing. So we've talked about the new mission critical. We've talked about how we're using the cloud to make our infrastructure much more proactive, much more resilient. But you need a better infrastructure. And that's the realization we came to 2.5 years back when we built HyperFlex. And what we realized was that we could take our UCS foundations of software-defined compute, marry that with a purpose-built file system, truly distributed, co-designed with our hardware, marry that with a cloud platform with some of the innovations Kip talked about in CloudCenter and with Intersight, and we have an infrastructure that can power any app across any cloud, anywhere. So this week, we launched some new things. In 2.5 years, this infrastructure has gone from a new but really creative new infrastructure to becoming a Magic Quadrant leader, according to Gartner and Forrester. So what did we say this week? So what we announced this week was HyperFlex Anywhere. HyperFlex, that new infrastructure taken to the edge, a 2-node form factor for those edge environments, connected with this nifty new innovation called a cloud witness, an invisible witness in the cloud, so that our data in our edge locations, where there's not much IT, is still safe, is still secure, because when there's a problem, we've got a witness in the cloud to remediate it. We introduced more performance, Intel Optane All-NVMe. We've been innovating not just within Cisco, but with our partners at Intel. We introduced a data acceleration engine so that the high-powered storage functions that don't need to take CPU cycles don't take CPU cycles and are offloaded. And finally, we introduced and expanded our multi-cloud integrations to also include OpenShift. Finally, all of this is part of the UCS family managed by Intersight. So, I firmly believe that like many of our customers who are imagining a better tomorrow, a safer tomorrow, entry into new markets, a more profitable tomorrow, I think all of us can do that. And all of us can do that powered on the toolkits that Cisco is bringing to the table and with the creativity that all of you are bringing to the table. So with that, thank you. Now I'm going to invite Kip back to the stage.
Thanks, Katie.
Thank you.
It's really exciting to see the innovations, and you see just incredible pace of innovation from where we were with HyperFlex 2.5 years ago to being a Magic Quadrant leader, announcing HyperFlex Edge, having the cloud management with Intersight, building out the ecosystem with the cloud players and platforms like Red Hat OpenShift. Just an incredible amount of progress, and we've just gotten great feedback from our customers on that as well. So now, I think it's always helpful to hear from actual customers and partners. You hear from us at Cisco, clearly we're excited about what we're doing, but I think we have a great opportunity to have a conversation with an outside expert. And my honor and privilege to invite Jacques Brucard from Telindus up to the stage. And we have a few minutes to talk about what all of this means from Telindus' perspective. Thanks for joining us here. I guess my first question for you is if you could maybe tell us a little bit about Telindus in Luxembourg and your role, so the audience has a context.
Okay. So Telindus is a company that operates out of Luxembourg. We belong to the Proximus group of companies, and we are a long-term Cisco partner for over 20 years. What we do is system integration. We are also a cloud operator, and we are a telecom provider. And my role inside Telindus is I'm in charge of solutions, pre-sales, and innovation.
It's fantastic. So we talk about multi-cloud. Do you see that in your view of the market and with your customers, and is that an important factor?
Absolutely, yeah. We have been operating our private cloud now since 2011, so quite a long time. We have been using Cisco technology at the basis, meaning we are offering our cloud based on a FlexPod platform. And when we did that, that was a logical extension at the time of our outsourcing practice. So beyond just outsourcing, and sending people managing the infrastructure on-prem to our customers, starting 2011, we could do it really in a data center with Cisco technology. Now we want to take it to the next level because we see a clear drive towards a multi-cloud world, and we want to use the same kind of approach, meaning a good governance in a strongly regulated market, with proven technology to offer business outcomes to our customers.
Yeah, no, I think it's very interesting to see kind of the intersection of the regulatory environment that you have to operate in and some of the developments in cloud. I guess we were also talking a little bit about abstraction.
Yes. Well, let me take one step back and say a few words about regulation. Regulation is for many people, including the large cloud providers, a pain. We consider it more as a gain or as an enabler. And I will tell you why, just in a few words, without boring you with regulation. But if you look what's happening on a European level, the European Banking Authority has issued some recommendations on how a bank can move workloads to the cloud. And I will give you just a couple of things that are really important there. For example, the recommendations of the EBA say clearly you need to be in control of the risk. You need to know what happens to your data. And last but not least, you need to have an exit strategy. exit strategy means if for some reason you're obliged to get out of the public cloud and you need to move back to your private infrastructure or to another cloud, you need to be able to demonstrate that. And that is something where we believe that Cisco technology and trusted partners like ourselves can help our customers a lot. And Cisco has proven also that they can give a good experience of a public cloud type of setup in a private data center. And this is something we believe in, because if we talk to our customers, mainly banking customers, what they all want is the features of a public cloud in a private environment. And I think with the Cisco Container Platform and the Cisco Hybrid Cloud Platform, we are in the right direction there together. But what I always say, this is some abstraction layer, that we can now demonstrate and implement in a private data center, meaning the container abstraction layer. So the question to Kip would be, what is Cisco planning in that space? Do you want to go up, move up the abstraction layers further so that the customer can have a full public cloud experience in a private data center?
No, it's a great question. It's interesting. I would say I'm seeing good abstraction and bad abstraction in cloud these days. The good abstractions are things like, frankly, Kubernetes, that abstract the way orchestration works and provides the opportunity for application developers to write software that runs in different environments and takes advantage of the native capabilities in whichever environment it's running in. Some of the abstraction that we're seeing work out not as well for a lot of customers is when people try to homogenize the entire cloud and try to abstract everything away, because we see people getting stuck on kind of a lowest common denominator where they can't take advantage of the innovation or the unique capabilities in each cloud. One of the things I think that we're seeing that helps with the challenge you mentioned about providing all the services in a private on-prem context and that are in a public context is people not only starting to abstract things, but starting to implement things like service meshes. Istio, I think, is a prominent example of this. And it feeds into one of the trends I talked about earlier in terms of how you interface with existing applications. And we're seeing people providing many services on-prem, but providing the connectors to be able to call services in the public cloud, even from an on-prem workload when they need to, and vice versa, being able to develop an application in the public cloud and seamlessly call a capability on-prem. So I think there's good and bad abstractions. Good ones give you portability, but still access to native capabilities, as well as service mesh starting to really connect those two environments. So we don't necessarily need to implement every function in both environments, but the two environments start to work together as a system. I guess we're running out of time. I guess my last question for you is, what do you see going forward as you look out into 2019 and beyond?
When we talk to our customers, again, mainly out of the banking sector, even the most conservative ones are now thinking about moving some stuff to the public cloud. Some of the banking managers tell me, well, I want to move everything into the cloud. Then I have a tendency to respond, let's first look at your application landscape, and then we'll try to guide you, towards the best possible solution. And I don't believe the world is becoming simpler. I think it's becoming more complicated. And in that sense, if a bank or any other institution decides to go to the cloud, I think they need trust and security, and they need orientation, and I think Cisco with the technology and us as a trusted partner are the right people to help our customers to get the right business outcomes out of the hybrid cloud.
No, we're seeing, like I said, we're seeing a lot of customers looking for help. This is a complex environment, so yes. I agree with that.
Okay.
Thank you again for joining us today. I really appreciate your insights. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up here. And I think there's just a few key messages. We really believe that Cisco, with our technology base, and then with partners like Telendus, can really help our customers on this multi-cloud journey. And we think that multi-cloud journey is one of the most important things in IT and in fact in business today. So we're really excited about the way we've been able to grow our multi-cloud portfolio, grow our data center capabilities, and really bring a stronger and stronger story to our partners and customers. There is a lot that you can do here at Cisco Live in Barcelona this week. Out on the floor, we've got demos of just about everything that I talked about. There's data center and cloud areas in the solution showcase. There's meetings you can sign up for and meet the engineers. Topics like Kubernetes, containers, HyperFlex. DevNet has some fantastic sessions on Kubernetes, hybrid cloud networking, and HyperFlex. And then there's some additional sessions. We've got tomorrow a great session on enabling analytics in a multi-cloud and hybrid world. So thank you again for joining us here at Cisco Live, and thank you for joining us for this session.